Taehyung's POV during track practice when everyone was eating their snacks. I was already down at the track stretching. Once I was done stretching, everyone else came down to the track and started to warm up. I started to run after everyone else was warming up. After a few minutes of me running for a warm up before practice even started, I grabbed my water bottle and took a long drink. I was out of breath and I was slightly getting lightheaded. Once everyone else was done warming up, our coaches came down to the track. Throwers, your coach is up at the throwing area. Long jumps and high jumpers go over there. Sprinters and long distance runners, you know what to do, the main coach said. We all went our own ways. A few other people and I went away from the track so we could run further and longer. After a while of running, I was started to get badly lightheaded. I was having a hard time keeping up with the others because my body was started to feel limp. Taehyung, are you okay? One of the other runners asked me. Yes, I am fine. I think I need some water, I told him as I stopped running and placed my hand on my knees as I tried to feel better. Come on, I'll take you back so you can get some water, the person said as he wrapped his arm around my waist to help me stand up straight. We walked slowly to where we all had our waters, and once we got there, the person helped me sit down on the ground. I grabbed my water bottle and quickly opened it before taking a drink. While I was waiting, sitting on the ground, my vision was going back slowly. I set my water bottle back on the ground as I leaned my head onto the wall behind me. My head was throbbing in pain and I was feeling very tired. Now, do you want me to go get one of the coaches? The person asked me, but their voice seems to be very far away. I stayed on the ground for some time. At some point, I felt myself being shook. I tried to open my eyes, but I didn't walk. I felt someone grab my face, but I wasn't able to hear or see anything. Jungkook's POV when one of the long distance runner came running down to the track and told our coach that Taehyung had fainted. I stopped what I was doing and followed them to where Jungkook Taehyung was. The coach was asking a lot of questions as we walked up to where the long distance people kept their waters. When we got there, I hurried over to Taehyung's side. I grabbed the side of his face and looked down at his face. Taehyung was really pale and his skin was cold but warm at the same time. Heat struck. The coach asked, I have no idea. He stopped running and put his hands on his knees before we came down here. The other runner again. I rubbed my thumb on Taehyung's cheekbone for a few seconds before I looked back on the couch. On the coach, can I stay with him? The coach nodded her head back to me. Take him somewhere in his cooler, she said. I nodded my head back to her as I gently picked Taehyung up. Bridal style, I carried him back to the building. We all sat while eating before coming down to the track. I took Taehyung into the locker room and laid him down on the bench while I sat down on the floor in front of him. After about 10 minutes, Taehyung opened his eyes. He was still very pale and it seems to be very tired. Are you okay, Tae? I asked him calmly as I rubbed my thumb against his forehead. Yes. Can I have something to drink? He asked very quietly. I nodded my head as I stood up and walked over to my locker to grab my other other water. I sat down on the bench after I helped Taehyung sit up. Taehyung had his head lying on my shoulder. I helped him take a few small drinks out of the water before he stopped taking drinks. What happened to me, Cook? Taehyung asked me. You fainted, Tae. You really scared me, and Jimin, the person who helped you. I told him, I'm sorry, Cook. He said back to me, it's okay, Taehyung. I said back to him as I started to rub his back. I can go and ask the coach if I can take you home. Practice will be over about in 10 minutes. I told him. Taehyung nodded. I said back to me. I was a little scared leaving Taehyung in the locker room by himself, but I knew that I wouldn't be that long. When I got back to the field, I walked up to the coach. Can I take Taehyung home for the day? He isn't feeling that well, I asked her. She nodded her head back to me. I hurriedly back to the locker room and found Taehyung sitting on his phone. Now I got all our stuff together before Taehyung and I went out of my room. When I got to Taehyung's house, I asked if he needed any help going inside, but he said that he didn't need help. I waited until Taehyung went inside before I drove away. Thanks, POV. I was terrified when I walked onto my house. The house is stuck of alcohol, and I could see my dad sitting on the couch with a bottle of whiskey in his hand. I closed the front door silently as I tried to walk up to the stairs without my dad hearing, but failed. Why are you home? He asked me, sounding angry. Practice ended early. I told him. My dad stood up and walked over to me, taking a long drink out of his whiskey bottle. I backed up to try to get away from him, but my back hit the wall. I heard a car outside. Did someone drive you home? He asked me as he came up to me. I shook my head back to him, but he ended up slapping me across my face. I was shocked but didn't do anything because I knew that doing nothing was the best. Are you trying to get even further than you already? Fatter than you already are? He asked me as he hit me in my stomach. No, sir, I said as I hunched over out of pain. My dad quickly finished the whiskey in the bottle before he hit me over my head with the empty bottle. I covered my head right before the bottle could hit me. I felt a huge pain in my hand, and when I brought my hand down, I saw red all over my clenches. My dad grabbed me and threw me onto the floor. Oh, no, please, I didn't do anything wrong, I cried, but he kicked me a few times. I curled myself into a ball, but my dad forced me to stay laid out. You are worthless. You don't deserve anything you have. No one loves you. You are a waste of space. You should die. My dad said angry as he kicked me harder each time. After some time, my dad left me alone and went back into the kitchen to grab another bottle of alcohol. I slowly got off the floor and limped up the stairs to my room. I grabbed a change of clothes before limping over to the bathroom. I locked the door before I sat on my clothes on the counter and turned on the hot water for a bath. I missed you, Mom. Why am I not dying? I cried as I wondered how less I eat. How did I even survive? I should have died until now. I understand why the bathroom filled up, undressed while the bathtub filled up. and I just stared at myself in mirror. I ran up my arm as I grabbed my own skin. I felt disgusted when I was able to grab my onto my skin. I did the same with my thighs and legs and felt even more disgusted with myself. I wanted to cry, die as I turned to the side and did the same thing with my stomach. I started to cry again when I was able to grab fat on my body. I got myself onto the bath as I cried even more. I rested my head on my knees as tears fell down my face. I hated my body and very much happy that my dad wasn't letting me eat for some time. When I got out of bathroom, I quickly dressed up before limping over my room. I lay down on my bed and slowly drifted to sleep. Jungkook's POV the next day at school. Taehyung wasn't there in the beginning of the day like he usually is. I was really worried with what happened yesterday during track. Yoongi kept saying that I needed to stop overthinking it because Taehyung's dad probably let him stay home after what had happened. During lunch, Taehyung came to school. He seems to be very tired and he was still very pale but had more color than he did yesterday. Taehyung also had bandages around his crunches. I was worried about why he needed them around his hand. What happened to your hands, Taehyung? Yogi asked him. I fell down the stairs this morning. My dad let me stay home for a little bit to make sure that my hands were okay, Taehyung said after he hesitated at first. I found it weird how he stuttered and was so hesitant with telling Yoongi about what happened. I also realized when he walked onto the cafeteria that he had a limp. It made sense that he had told us, but I found it weird. At the same time, I am really worried for Thay, but I don't know what to do. How are you feeling after what happened at the track last night? I asked him and Taehyung slowly nodded his head back to me. I ate something when I got home and took a bath before I fall asleep. Taehyung said back to me. I just nodded my head back to him as I took a bite of my food. I wanted to offer him something, but I knew that he was just going to tell me that he wasn't hungry. I was getting worried about Taehyung. He didn't seem like he had a healthy eating style at all. It all scared me how I never saw him eat anything at school or before track. I knew that him fainting the other day most likely had to do with him not eating. I knew that Taehyung wouldn't ever tell Yoongi or me about the true reason why he fainted. Thanks POV at the end of the lunch. We all went to our lockers before going to our classes. I was sad that I was all alone in this class, but at the same time I was happy that I didn't need to put on a happy face in front of my friends. But at the end of the school my body was in a lot of pain. Just like last night, I knew that I wouldn't be able to run as long as I usually can. I also knew that I wouldn't be able to wear a t-shirt or shorts because I had bruises on my leg from trying to protect myself from my dad's beating. In the locker room, I changed out of my jeans and put a pair of sweatpants I had in my locker. I tied the strings of my pants so my pants wouldn't be falling down. I walked over to the mirror in the open bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. I wanted to grab at my body to see if any of the fat on my body had went down since last night, but I was scared of Jungkook and Yoongi seeing me to do it. What are you doing, Taehyung? Jungkook asked me as he walked up behind me and wrapped his arm around my waist and rested his head on my shoulder. I hold breath in my stomach as I look up at Jungkook. Nothing, just making sure that this looked like I went together. I told him Jungkook hummed back to me. I wanted him to let go of me so wasn't so close to all the fat on my body. Should we go out now? We weren't late for practice. I asked him as my face randomly started to heat up. So, do you want something to eat? I have extra snacks if you want anything. Jungkook told me, thank you for asking, but I don't want anything to eat. I told him. Jungkook nodded his head as he let go of me and we headed out to the main area. I waved to Yoongi and Jungkook as I headed outside to the track and started warming up. I started my warm-up run way before anyone else came down just to see if my body was going to be okay with running long distance. Once I finished running, my whole body was in a lot of pain. I lay down on one of the high jumps mattress as I tried to catch my breath. I wanted to cry because of the amount of pain I was in, but wasn't able to because I didn't want to be asked by any question. Taehyung, are you okay? The guy from other day, Jimin asked me. I shook my head back to him. I fell down the stairs this morning because I woke up late and my body is in a lot of pain. I told him, how about I get you a few bags of ice and you can just rest for the practice, Jimin said. I nodded my head as I stood up and walked away from me. I nodded my head as he stood up and walked away from me. I heard people coming down from the building, and after a few minutes, I heard Jungkook's voice. You okay, Taehyung? He asked me as he sat down beside me. My body hurts from falling this morning. Jimin is getting me ice. I told him, okay, is all Jungkook said back to me before he walked away from me. I frowned to myself as Jungkook walked away from me. I didn't know why he was acting like that way towards me. I was scared that I had did something to him to make him act like this towards me. Jimin came back to me with 2 bags of ice and handed them to me. Here, take care of you, Taehyung, Jimin said, and get back to the practice. I slowly got off my mat and I was on and walked to the another place. I laid my bags on of ice down before putting my legs over them. My eyes felt slightly nice but hurt because of the ice was pressing on my bruises. Jungkook's POV, I had no idea why I had wrapped my arm around Taehyung's waist. It felt very comfortable for some reason and I really like it. I knew that Taehyung was a little shocked when I did it, but I found it a little cute. When Taehyung and I headed out to where most of our team was, things wasn't awkward at all. When Taehyung went outside, I had thought about what happened in the bathroom. I was scared that I had made Taehyung uncomfortable with touching him like that. Even though Taehyung didn't seem uncomfortable on the outside, he could have been very uncomfortable on inside. I didn't want to talk to him just in case I had messed anything up. When we all headed outside to the track, I saw Taehyung lying on the high jump mat. I walked up to him and waited a second before speaking. You okay, Taehyung? I asked him. My body hurts from falling this morning. Jimin is getting me ice. Taehyung said, okay, is all I said back to him before I walked away from him to do a warm-ups. I felt terrible for talking to Taehyung like that, but I was still scared that I had messed up. Taehyung seems completely fine, minus the part that his leg hurt from falling down the stairs. I walked over to Yoongi and started to stretch. He gave me a weird look from a few minutes. Are you okay, Cook? He asked as me quietly. Yes, I'm fine, Hyung. I told him. Jungkook, I can tell that something is bothering you. You can talk to me. You know that, right? Yoongi said to me. I know, Hyung. I just don't want to talk about it, I told him. I quickly finished stretching and walked over to the track. I ran for a few minutes before I stopped to get some water. I looked around for him and saw him sitting decently far away from with the box of ice under his leg. I smiled slightly to myself as I looked at him. I quickly shook my head. After I thought about Taehyung, I had no idea why Taehyung has been on my mind so much. I knew that part of it had to do with the fact that I was scared that I made him uncomfortable. The rest of it didn't make any sense to me. I started practice every now and again. I would look over to the place Taehyung is sitting and saw him still just sitting there. I would smile every time I looked over him. I quickly stopped it. I was gay or anything. I had no problem with people who were gay and a part of LGBT. I had no idea why I was blushed when I thought about them. But I did. I didn't hate that I blushed every time I thought about them, but I found it really weird every time I did it. Taehyung is my friend. Neither of us were part of LGBT to my knowledge. I was slightly scared of people knowing that I was blushing because of my best friend. At the end of practice, I got all my stuff and Taehyung's stuff together. I walked over to where Taehyung was sitting and held my hand out to him. Taehyung was hesitant in taking my hand, but when he did, I could tell that he was more comfortable. Do you want to ride home? I asked him in a comforting voice as I walked to the parking lot. Taehyung shook his head back to me. I will just walk. I need to get my legs used to walking slightly to try to make the pain feel better, he told me. I nodded my head back to him. Be careful. I will see you tomorrow, I told him before I walked towards my car. I started to drive and look out my mirror to see him still standing where he was before. I drove slowly and after some time I saw him now walking decently far away from my car. I started to go faster after I knew that Taehyung was on his way home. When I get home, I changed my clothes before I started to do anything else. I couldn't get Taehyung out of my mind once again. I hate how much to be he was in my head right now. Why would I be thinking about him so much? I didn't have any feeling for him beside the one you have for your friends. Why would I blush when I think about him or anything else? To be continued. So everyone, how was this episode? Don't forget to tell me in the comment section, and if you like it, please do like, share and subscribe my channel and share your thoughts in the comment section. I'll try to read it, okay? Kayo, Ami, sarangi.